Yeg Shamash. My name is Thomas, and you're watching Swords to Podcast. Wah wah wee wah.
Welcome back to Swords to Podcast. My name is Adam.
And my name is Thomas, and MagicCon Vegas has now come and passed. We were not able to attend, sadly, but we got some really, really cool news coming out of it, and that's what we wanted to take a look at today. So we got a couple card previews and just some other updates here and there, mostly from the preview panel. There's one other panel that we're going to talk about, but let's save that. Adam, I think you already have an idea, but we'll get into that in a little bit. Let's just go ahead and get started. So they kind of did the order. So I was watching the panel live. It was like kind of lucky because I didn't realize that it was live streamed. I saw it on YouTube and I'm like, oh, well, perfect. They went in a kind of a strange order. They started with The Hobbit, then did, I think, Reality Fracture, and then Superheroes. So I'm like, the next set they saved for last and didn't really talk a whole lot about it. But anyway, we're going to start with Marvel Superheroes because that's the next set. So the first thing that we will take a look at is the Vision. So Adam, let's go into our first preview card for the day. I want to apologize in advance to our YouTube viewers because a lot of the pictures that we have on these cards are probably not going to be super high quality because they're not like official yet, even though they just showed pictures on a screen. So that's the disclaimer for today. And Adam, let's start with our first card. So the one thing I want to say, because I know you didn't get a chance to tune in live, they made a big deal about the Vision. I was like the only card they really talked about. This and then the card that goes along with it. They brought out Paul Bettany, who is the live action actor for the Vision. So that was super sweet. He came out. He had like, since the Mind Stone is the one that's coming in this set, he had like a Mind Stone and made this big deal. They put it in the Infinity Gauntlet to close out the show, which was like kind of cool, kind of corny, but it was really cool to see him there. But he has no idea anything about magic, but it was kind of a sweet little collab. But there were two Vision cards spoiled. I picked the one that wasn't completely terrible. So you want to take us through Vision Synthetic? It's not synthetic. Synthezoid.
Yeah.
Vision Synthezoid Avenger.
Vision Synthezoid Avenger. 4 generic mana for a 3/3 legendary artifact creature, robot hero. He's a 3/3 with flying, and whenever a player casts a spell, if it isn't that player's turn, choose one. Put a +1/+1 counter on Vision, or Vision phases out.
Yeah, so the reason why I chose this one, there's two things I want to say, and then we'll do a little side note. Number one, isn't this set symbol super goofy? I think this is the commander set symbol.
Mhm.
Isn't this like really really goofy? So that's number one. Number two is I feel like they did everything in their power to make this card so unplayable. It's colorless. So I'm pretty sure that okay, so Vision's getting a commander deck, and I don't think they said what color it's going to be, but maybe I think this must be the commander card. They didn't say that this was it, but I'm not sure. But it's colorless, so like I don't know why you would even build this. This ability kind of sucks because it wants people to cast stuff when it's not their turn, and it's like, can you even count on that? And then they just added phasing, and that's one thing that they mentioned was that they were just talking about phasing and how phasing is such a cool mechanic and bring it back. Which I mean, phasing is really funny, but yeah, I guess they just put phasing on this colorless legend. So this is the Vision. They made such a big deal about the Vision just for the Vision cards to be really questionable. And that's why I thought it was funny that they brought out Paul Bettany because he doesn't really know how bad this card is.
Yeah, this is really... Because, like, this card reminds me of Norn the Wary, if you're familiar.
Yes.
But it doesn't work like that because it phases out. And when it phases out, it doesn't come back till your untap step. So, yeah, like, I mean, like, yeah, you can make it big, but then the problem is the stipulation doesn't really matter a whole bunch. So, like, it's going to be hard to trigger this in colorless, Like, how many colorless instants are there? Not many. And the stipulation of like the good thing about it phasing out whenever there's a spell in the stack means like your opponents can't kill it if it's not their turn, but it's easy to just kill it on their turn. You know what I mean? So like I don't know. I just
I mean, yeah, the only way that I can see this working is if you are building it, if you're building this as a commander and, you're trying to play around like Chromatic Ori or something and just go full Voltron. So you get this super big, and then if somebody tries to kill it, if it's not your turn, you can play something and get it phased out, so like protect it. So it does kind of have like an always protection in a way by casting like anything.
Mhm.
But yeah, I mean, what else? What else is there? I mean, I like it could work. I
It's
just don't know
definitely
how like fun it's even
interesting,
gonna be.
like with Voltron aspect of it, and it's got a built-in evasion. Yeah, this feels like a really. I mean, I could definitely see us getting like if this is gonna be the commander, I could definitely see us getting some really cool cards.
I
Like
don't think so. Let me check.
I was gonna say,
Vision.
if this is a commander, and they're gonna do a colorless commander deck with this,
Oh, the commander is the other one, but it's also
but it's
colorless.
also colors. Okay, because I can totally get behind um more colorless commander decks. Like I need new pieces for Graz.
Yeah, I mean, I just don't know.
Yeah, no, this card is awful.
The
Yeah,
whole thing that they did was like make this. The only cards that they revealed was like Vision cards because they revealed Marvel cards at some random live stream before. I think we've talked about, but the whole thing today was the Vision, and I guess it makes sense because we can just go ahead and move into our next card, which is the Mind Stone. Because obviously, Vision's whole thing is he has the Mind Stone in his forehead. The Mind Stone is the headliner for the set, and it does. I mean, it looks just the same as the Soul Stone did. It's it's kind of cool. I mean, me personally, I might think it's a little bit better than the Soul Stone, but either way, like for Infinity Stones, like supposed to be like the biggest thing in the universe, um, they're not very good.
mm-mm.
I don't think they're very good. But let's go ahead and start with. You want to take us away with the Mind Stone?
Yeah. The Mind Stone is one generic and one white for a legendary artifact, Infinity Stone, which is I guess a type. Um, with indestructible, you can tap it to add a white, or you can pay 5 generic and a white and tap it and harness the Mind Stone. So once you do that, the Infinity symbol ability is active. And that ability on the Mind Stone is at the beginning of your end step, exile up to one other target non-land permanent you control, then return that card to the battlefield under its owner's control. I did not imagine that they would print a Plagon card as the headliner for this set, but I'm so disappointed. Like, we run in Plagon, we run the good mana rocks. Like we run Felwar Stone, Arcane Signet, and the Talisman of Progress. I think yeah, I don't know. We run the talismans and stuff in that deck, but they're only good because you can cast them with generic mana, and so the Mind Stone just doesn't quite do it. Like paying an actual colored pip in the mana cost for this card just makes it effectively unplayable in CEDH Plagon.
And it
But
only tabs for white after that.
yeah, oh yeah, and it does only tap for white. Yeah, so you're also doing a downside. So like I could see decks that maybe try to swap this in and mess around with it, but it's like the upside. Like I feel like if you're paying 6 mana to get a Soul Herder ability, I don't think this is good enough to make the cut. But this is definitely going to go in a lot of decks. I mean, it's going to be the same thing as the Soulstone, I think, where it's gonna see some play. It's just if people are willing to spend $60 on a kind of okay mana rock.
Yeah, I mean the way that I look at it's like there's all these blink card. I mean this is comparable, right, to Teleportation Circle. Does the exact same thing.
Yeah, yeah,
Teleportation Circle is 4 generic mana, and then you have that ability. Mind Stone is effectively 9 mana to be able to do that. Yeah, it gives you a rock and it's indestructible, I guess.
you have to tap it, so like you're missing out on the mana that you make with it.
Again, I guess this is just the what we're gonna see when they kind of eventually get through all the stones. They're just they're so underwhelming, and yeah, on a technicality they're all playable, but it's just they're not really playable in good decks in my opinion, like in the higher decks, higher bracket decks, which is weird because they're supposed to be so powerful, but they're just
Yeah,
not
well, I
in
mean, like,
Magic.
CEDH decks aren't gonna want, 2 mana rocks that can't be played with generic mana, period. So, like, these are just never gonna see playing CEDH unless you're in, like, a monocolor deck, and still, like, I don't even think Keurig runs Soulstone. Like, I don't think they play those. I mean, that's also because it's kind of a turbo deck, but still, like, people aren't gonna run these in CEDH decks. And the problem is, like, I mean, I think I'm not gonna sit here and say that the Infinity Stones have not been really good cards. You know what I mean? Like, if I had the opportunity in like a bracket 3 or even 4 deck to run one of these stones in place of like an arcane signet, I probably would for the extra utility. I know like obviously in a 3 or 4 color deck you wouldn't want to do that really because you want to be able to tap for your colors, but these are objectively really good mana rocks. Even at face value, they're 2 mana for an indestructible mana rock. Like this is pretty much an insane rate. So having an extra ability on top of that is gravy. They work with legendary synergies, but it's just they're only going to be printed in these sets. Like I doubt they're going to reprint the Soul Stone in this set, and then I doubt they're going to reprint the Mind Stone as they keep going along. So you know, if you want to get your hands on these, they're going to be like pseudo reserve list. They're never going to be reprinted outside of these sets. And the headliner makes the card even more into the headliner aspect makes it even more in demand. So like I just looked it up. The Soulstone is $70 in its base printing.
Just
So
crazy.
like and like while these are really good mana rocks, the value you get is marginal. I don't know, the extra ability and the strength of the card is marginal. Like this is just not worth $70. That's why I don't run the Soulstone in any of my decks because I not spending $70 for a slightly better mana rock. It just yeah.
And I think that was the whole thing too. Going back to the Soulstone with the actual headliner like card, since it wasn't serialized, the actual price on it was just super questionable for the longest time. That came out right before MagicCon Atlanta, and people I don't think were even willing to buy it because like the price, it's just people didn't even really know
Mhm.
what it should be. So it's like even if you get this stuff, it's hard to like value wise even know when you get those nicer versions what they're really worth. Speaking of headliners that we thought maybe wouldn't have gotten reprinted, I don't know if you thought this, but maybe in the back of my mind. We'll go on to the next set here. So the Hobbit. Let us start with the One Ring. The One Ring is going to be a box topper in the Hobbit set. Now, what they said is there will be 20 possible box toppers you can get, and One Ring is one of them. So this is an interesting thing. It's been a while since they did box toppers, if I'm not mistaken. I don't remember them having box toppers for like quite a while, but we're getting that. It's 1 in 20, which is new. Usually a box topper has just been like one thing, except for I think uh Infinity was the 5 lands, right? 5 basics.
Yeah,
You can get
the
one. Yeah.
5. Well, no, you could get shocks, remember?
Oh, shocks. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I guess yeah, it's not like it's new, but One Ring is going to be a box topper, which is kind of crazy. And I guess we might as well talk about the controversy behind that.
Well hold on. So we had box toppers in Ether Drift, and
I didn't
then
buy boxes for that, so I guess I wouldn't know.
well, because that's where you could get some of the first place foils was box toppers. Remember we got box toppers with our extra points because
Oh
we were trying
yeah,
to pull
yeah, that's
the piss
right.
chrome mox.
Yeah. I guess it has been a brick though, because I think it was right after that that I did start buying boxes. Literally, Avatar was the first time I started buying boxes again. I haven't bought boxes since, dude, like March of the Machines was like the last box I bought
Well, but they've
before
also
that.
done buy a box promos. Like there was that singularity rupture or something in Edge of Eternities where like if you bought a box, you would get this card. So
It's
they've done.
crazy. It's like every set that I haven't bought is where the box toppers are. So I guess I'm tripping.
Well, none of them were none of them were super good, but
None of them are One Ring. Not that the One Ring is super good, but
yeah.
anyway, the controversy with the One Ring, which I just put Adam onto today, is apparently so Dan Frazier did the art for this one,
Well, he's credited with the art.
credited with the art, uh, which was okay in my opinion. Dan Frazier's been a staple in the Magic art world as long as it's been a thing, right? And for those of you that haven't heard, what he did was he apparently some eagle-eyed fans out there noticed striking similarities between this new One Ring art and the One Ring done by Marta something. Probably find her name.
I don't know. It's the extended art.
The one with the hand. And then it came out. Wizards had released a statement, and Dan Frazier did that. Yeah, he actually just traced over
Wait, there's
the
a statement?
her version. Yeah, there's statements from both of them. Traced over the actual ring from her art as like a source, and he just didn't make any changes. He just went with it, and he apologized directly to her. Wizards had to do the same thing and said that she was actually going to get compensated for all of this, which is just pretty crazy. Pretty crazy news coming out of that, but really unfortunate thing that had to happen. But it's good that they're making amends, and they even said like thank you to all the, like I said, eagle-eyed fans out there that noticed. Um, Crazy thing, and they basically said, mistakes happen. Um, doesn't sound like it was a mistake by Wizards, maybe not as much Dan Frazier, but we move on.
Wow. Oh, that's why you're saying eagle-eyed fans, because they put that in the message too.
Yep. Yep.
Bro, what? Okay. Because the thing is, when you first told me this, I didn't believe it. Like, I didn't believe that he was intentional. Because, like, most of these artists, they have like agents and stuff that handle specifics when they do work for companies like Wizards. So I just assumed that it was like an early piece of like maybe he like tested out that background on a ring that he already knew looked good. So he just want to like test what that background looked like or something like that. And then, either the wrong art got sent or that was one of the pieces that Wizards had received and they just decided to use that one because they didn't have time to make another one or something like that. I didn't know that it was actually Dan copying it straight across.
Yeah.
That was really stupid of him.
Hmm.
Because like, there's no one that was gonna miss. Like, no one would miss that. There's just no possible way that the internet wouldn't have caught on. So that's pretty crazy.
Yeah, but I don't know. As far as the actual artwork goes, past it being a copy, like it's not even great. Like, I mean, I guess it is a box stopper. Didn't have to go that crazy with it, but whatever. We're getting the One Ring as a box stopper, so that's what they decided to do. That's about it. So that is, it's not actually the headliner. We will get to the headliner. Before we get to that one, let's start with the our first card here. I can take this one. I think this one's kind of cool. Tom, Bert, and William. So it's 3 and Golgari, so 5 mana for a 5/5 legendary troll. You can pay 1 generic, sacrifice another creature, draw cards equal to the sacrificed creature's power, then discard a card. And when Tom, Bert, and William die, if they were a creature, return them to the battlefield. They're an artifact. So this is really cool. It works just like those cards. Uh, I want to say are they Duskmourn cards, where it's like they're enchantment creatures. If they die, they come back as the enchantment.
The enduring cycle, yeah.
Yeah, and yeah. So it works just like that, which is like super cool. And it's awesome that there's just like an infinite outlet that you can, well, you obviously need creatures for it, but it's not a tap ability, which is awesome. And you're just drawing a ton of cards. Overall, it seems like a really, really powerful card. And I mean, it's in Golgari, you got your graveyard stuff. This is a very, very sweet card. What do you think, Adam?
Yeah, this is really, really good. I mean, um, wow, yeah. It's not there's so many ways that they could have nerfed this that they just chose not to. I mean, it's not a tap ability, it's not sorcery speed, it's not once per turn, it's just 1 mana. That's it. That
And sack a creature.
Well, yeah, duh.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, that's really strong. I mean, the fact that you can activate this in instant speed means you can do some really crazy things like Phyrexian Dreadnought things. Like I mean, this is a really, really effective card draw engine.
It's crazy.
Um,
You can draw your whole deck if you have like what the reassembling skeleton combo with whatever the treasure maker or something is to
yeah.
sack it, return
If
it.
you make infinite mana on the sack loop, then you can uh then you can do a separate sack loop with Tom Burton William. Now, admittedly, with like a reassembling skeleton, I think it's a 1 power thing, so you would just draw one and discard, so you'd loot through the whole deck.
Which isn't
Um,
terrible. I mean, you don't have breach in these colors, but I
yeah, but
mean,
if you got
there's
infinite mana and your entire library in the graveyard, surely you can win. If you're doing sacrifice and
yeah.
graveyard loop shenanigans, surely you can win the game from there.
So some really cool things that I think we'll find with this card. But with that, you want to move on to the next one. So this is the headliner for the card for the set, excuse me, and it's actually super sweet. I never saw the Hobbit movie, so I don't know if it's Smog or Smaug. Ben Bateman is calling it Smaug, and I'm like,
It's
bro,
Smaug.
there's no way it's Smaug. Is it
It's
actually?
Smaug.
Because I could have sworn they said Smog at the panel, but maybe I'm tripping.
No, it's at least in the movie, it's Smaug.
Okay, so Smaug. Smaug the Magnificent, and this is the headliner. And something interesting that they said. So it's not serialized, but they said there's roughly 500 copies. So it's not serialized, but it is. In a
Oh,
way.
so okay, so this is a limited. Okay, so this is like the
Well, the golden version of it is.
yeah, interesting.
Yeah, but it is still a very cool card. You want to take us through Smaug?
Yeah, Smaug the Magnificent. 2 generic and 2 red mana for a 4/3 legendary dragon with flying and haste. Whenever Smaug attacks, he deals damage equal to the number of treasures you control to any target, and at the beginning of your upkeep, create a treasure token. Yeah, no, this is really sweet. Yeah, I think it's a little boring if you consider how strong Smaug was. Like, you know, I like it being a low cost, low power and toughness, like a reasonable card to play in a normal commander game. And I mean, you could definitely play this as a commander and then do some really cool stuff with it. But I don't know. I feel like it's a little lackluster. Like, it does cool stuff and has treasure synergies. It's super flavorful, but like Smaug is this big honking dragon, that destroyed an entire dwarven keep, ate everything inside, and just so he could sleep with all the gold. Like, you know, killed probably tens, if not hundreds of thousands of people, right? And he's a 4/3. I don't know.
And he only deals damage to one target.
Yeah, well, no, that's good, but it's just purely based on like the size of Smaug, just like mana cost, power toughness. Like, Smaug is not a 4/3.
4/3 with flying and haste, though.
Yeah, no, I totally get that. Yeah,
And then the only thing I want to say about this is this a sign, bro? Are they making the push to unban Dockside?
What if they did though?
What if they did? I don't know.
Unbanning Dockside?
Unban Dockside, maybe. All right, so yeah, that does it for the Hobbit set.
Well, hold on. Let's just go with this Dockside thing. Like, okay, I heard something online where a couple CDH players were like, "Yo, unban Dockside. Just do it. Just unban it." And they're talking about how CDH has become turn order simulator with all the super parasitic turbo decks in the format. And they're like, well, Dockside only helps this problem, or it only helps it because then people in seat 4 can play a Dockside Extortionist, and because everybody's played out their artifacts, it kickstarts the seat 4 player. Do you think that they could or they should? I guess my question is, do you think it would be a good thing for the format if they did?
Well, I don't think that they make decisions on bans and unbans necessarily for CEDH.
No, they
So
definitely don't.
so taking that into mind, I don't know. But then it's a question of why did they even ban it in the first place? Because I mean, it's only going off of stuff that I've seen, at locals, but I never really saw it that often before, so I don't really know. But maybe, I mean, I feel like they'll make a case for unbanning a lot of stuff eventually, or at least it's something that they will always talk about. And right now, the question is, do they ban Ristic Study? So I think if that's the big ticket item of to ban, Dockside is one of the top like 3 on the ticket to unban. I think if we kind of make the comparison there, it's like, what's worse, Ristic Study versus Dockside? Realistically, is Ristic Study worse? Like,
I think
for
s
the
I think so.
format?
I think so.
Like, Ristic Study just kinda draws stuff out, but Dockside does feed into that turbo thing and makes games quick.
Well, no, I think Dockside is gonna make games with turbo, maybe not, like, slower, but I think it balances it out more because, like I said, like, if you're in seat 4 and you have 2 mana turn 1 and a Dockside Extortionist, like, you it suddenly makes seat 4 viable. Like, I've seen a lot of tournament grinders to talk about, like, if you're in seat 4, you're playing for a draw anyway. I don't know, I think it could be interesting.
Well, you know what? You know what? Damn, have I been playing some long shot, and if they unban Dockside,
Well, and here's my thought, okay, so do like, we never played CEDH when Dockside was a thing, so we don't know, whatever. But like, I wonder, does like because my deck plays a few artifacts or a few clones, and I'm not on any like the mirror made copy enchantment stuff, but I know there are tons of decks that are like, if they ban Ristic Study, but then Dockside comes back, do we just have Dockside Extortionist slop decks and running around instead of Ristic Study slop decks?
I would say so. I mean, they've printed like, since Dockside's been banned, they've printed some really good clones.
Mhm. Well, and does this mean that Rog Thras is just now de facto the best deck in the format?
We'll just have to see what happens,
Mhm.
but, like, the more we talk about it, the more I'm thinking, I mean, if everyone's complaining so much about, like you said, the Ristic Study slop, I mean, Dockside could be the answer.
I think that if we're gonna get a Ristic Study ban, it'll happen on the next, like this very next announcement. I think if it's gonna get banned, it's gonna be banned then, and then if not, never.
Yeah.
I would be so happy if Ristic Study got banned. Like, obviously, I'd be sad because I can't play Ristic Study in my CEDH deck, but there's cards that I could put in the deck that I need cuts for, and getting rid of Ristic Study would be kind of sweet.
Would help. Well, that's actually a good point too, because I just started playing RAL, right? And there's like kind of two things with RAL. It's like you're either going to turbo off super super quickly or kind of set up, sculpt your hand so that you can, be more prepared to go off. And it's basically a question of, do you have a Ristic Study in your opening hand and can you cast it turn one
Mhm.
versus no. So I wouldn't even hate that. And going back to playing long shot, bro, the biggest weakness of long shot is playing against Ristic Study. Everyone has a Ristic, like it sucks. But these decks that I've been playing, I'm thinking maybe that is what we want.
Well, I mean, I don't know. Like Mystic Remore and Esper Sentinel are still cards. I think they're both reasonably fairer. Um,
Oh, for sure.
I mean, I've had worse. I've had some really bad Mystic Remora games recently, where just nobody fed the fish at all, and I like kept it around for multiple turns and missed land drops because I kept a hand that could just cast turn one fish. Yeah, I think the format is going to be just fine without Ristic Study. I hope it gets banned.
I'm definitely I'm you might be convincing me. This might be the episode that you're convincing me. All right. With that, let's get to the last set of the day. Oh, Adam, I'm so excited to talk about this set. Reality Fracture. So, Reality Fracture is supposed to be the big like story pinnacle of this recent cycle of sets that they've been doing. There is a lot of news to talk about with this set. So I have a couple things written down. Let's just kind of get through it. Number one, they are treating it, if for those of you that are Marvel fans and have been tapped into the TV shows, it's a TV show. It's been on Disney Plus called What If, just this really cool thing where they basically explore like alternate like timelines because they're getting into like all the multiverse stuff. So it's like, what if Peggy Carter became Captain America? It's Captain like, what do they even call her? Like Captain Britannica? I don't even know. What if she got the super serum instead of Steve Rogers? Or what if Thor was like focused on partying, and I don't know, all this stuff. Really cool. It also ties super into the what they're doing now with the multiverse stuff. And I think Mark Rosewater even said that that's kind of what they wanted to go for with this one. Similar to in the DC universe where they have like Bizarro in a way. So in the Bizarro universe, all the characters have like an opposite, and they're like the evil versions of the heroes. So that's kind of what they were going for here. And as we have kind of known, so Jace is the big villain here. They're giving him the Anakin Skywalker treatment, right? Where he's just all of a sudden, turning into like the big villain of the set of the story. And we just now in the Strixhaven got the Black Ral, and we're gonna get a lot of like differing colors of big famous planeswalkers. So the first one, let's just go ahead and move to the card to start here. Is we're getting a blue Chandra. So Chandra, Torch of Defiance, is the red Chandra, and she's getting a blue counterpart. And the big thing to say before we actually get into the card is they're doing something kind of sweet with the packs. I mean, we'll see how it turns out, but since each card has their alternate, like bizarro version, what they talked about is for people that aren't super into Magic, they wanted to be kind of conscious about people that don't know that Chandra is historically a red card. So in order to kind of show that it's crazy that there's like a counterpart to it, they're guaranteeing in every single pack that you're going to get both versions. So if you pull the Chandra, you're going to get both the red and the blue Chandra in a pack.
Does that mean there is a character in every pack, or does that mean that if you get a character, it will be both versions?
I believe that it means that you will get a double in every pack, but it's not always going to be, something
Something good.
good, because I think there's
Yeah,
going to be a lot of like alternate versions of different things, not just like planeswalkers, but all the
like
way down
uncommon
through
legends.
yeah, all the way down, not necessarily common legends. Doesn't
No,
have
but
to
like
be legends.
uncommon, like when they print legendary
Yeah.
creatures
Well,
in
I don't
uncommon.
think it necessarily has to be legends is my point. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, okay,
But
interesting.
but that I'm not 100% sure about. I just know that, for the at least for the big ones, if you get one, you're going to have both. So that
Okay.
is kind of sweet. Let's just start with the Chandra. So I think you said right, Torch of Defiance is one that we've already seen before.
Mhm.
But do you want to just take us through the blue Chandra?
Yeah, the new Chandra is Chandra Chill of Compliance. Uh, it is one generic and two blue for a three loyalty legendary Chandra Planeswalker. Her +1 loyalty ability is Surveil 1. If you put a non-creature, non-land card into your graveyard this way, put that card into your hand. Her second +1 is add a blue mana. Spend this mana only to cast a non-creature spell. Her -X is tap target artifact or creature, put X stun counters on it. And then her -6 is you get an emblem with whenever you cast a spell, draw a card. Planeswalkers are so interesting to me in how their dynamic works with Commander. Um, because it's so hard to defend a planeswalker from three people at the same time. And I think that's one of the reasons that, not many planeswalkers see play in Commander. And that's totally fair. And plus, like if you play something that your opponents all they have to do to destroy it is just attack it, I think that also paints a target on your back, especially when this genre has this really strong ult. But I think this is playable, right? Like,
I think so.
I don't know how much you're going to be doing with the mana part of it, but being able to effectively draw a card every turn, like this is a mono blue Phyrexian Arena that doesn't, make you pay life, and obviously like you can pull lands off the, you can filter lands off the top, like you won't be, you can't draw the lands with the, this card, but and then that -6 emblem, it's like if you get that off, like if Chandra lasts, I guess so. Also, you play her, turn one you play her, not on turn one, but the turn you play her, she's 4 loyalty. Next turn 5, next turn 5, next turn 6. If you can like play a mana dork turn 1 and then play her turn 2, suddenly by also God, why my brain is not working today. 4, 5, 6. So you need the turn she comes down and 3 more turns. So if you can keep Chandra alive for 3 turns, you the game is over. Cast a spell, draw a card, the game is over shortly. So very playable. And like the baseline is it draws cards and makes mana.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still going back, and I still, even though we've seen the red one before, I still think the red one's a little bit better. Maybe they do different things, but it is kind of exciting to see like the two versions, and I like that they do something kind of similar. Like they deal with similar things, but they definitely do. Like the red one does like the red version of these abilities. The blue one does like the blue version. So it is kind of cool that they are like tied together in that way.
Dude, this card is insane in like Super Friends doubling season decks because you can immediately ult it. You're paying 3 mana to get that emblem.
Then you do have to play a deck with green in it, which means you're ramping. You're ramping easy. You
Oh
could get this
yeah,
off
yeah.
turn one. No, you get. I mean, there's a world. There's a world, but I don't know. Yeah, so that's the Chandra. So let's keep moving through this set. Okay, we just went to Strixhaven. This is, let's see, next set of superheroes. That's one. Then The Hobbit. Then Reality Fracture. So that's 3 sets later. And in universe, it's the next set after Strixhaven, right? So Wizards is going to say we're going to be so creative with this set. We're just going to recycle cards, but just make them the opposite. So let's stick on the Strixhaven thing for a second. They're introducing something so cool. It's called Hexhaven. They're basically like, yo, can we make the Strixhaven colleges with the allied colors? And they were like, no, we can't do that. The Strixhaven already has its colleges, but hey, let's just throw it in Reality Fracture. Let's just do Strixhaven Part 2. They literally, I don't know. I don't know if I'm just like, going off about something that no one else really cares about, but I'm like, this is, bro, they just did Strixhaven. And they're like, yo, we're not done. We have all these cards that we just couldn't use for Strixhaven. Let's just like use them anyway in this set. It's like, I thought that this was supposed to be like some big like culmination. I don't know anything about the story. I mean, I know a little bit, but not like enough to say that like I know how much sense this makes. But we got some cards here that is literally just like Strixhaven cards, but just the opposite. And you can see it in like the name, like they basically just like took the same names of everything, bro. Took the same names, just like changed a word to like the antonym. Not exactly, but y- close enough, right? And and they're going so crazy in this panel talking about how creative they're getting to be with this set. And like me personally, I think that they're just gaslighting themselves into thinking that like they're doing something so crazy with this set when it feels like it didn't really take a whole lot of effort in the end. They're like, okay, we have this card that we really like, it's really good, let's like do it again and then like change it a little bit so that we can say, oh my god, we're being so creative, this is so out of the box like what we're doing. But we're kind of doing we're doing the Dan Frazier, and we're just like taking a card that already exists and then like barely changing it. Yo, is that a W callback? Oh my gosh. But
Oh
I
my
don't know.
god. Dude, it's like that meme where the dude is on the subway like looking at the other guy's phone.
No, there's like 3 guys looking at the dude's phone with like telescopes.
No, it's the wait, maybe. Oh wow.
I don't know wait, how does that relate to what we're talking about?
No, it's just like wizards looking at their
Oh
old
yeah.
and just barely changing it.
Yeah, so with that, let's just get into our first card here.
Dan Frazier callback was crazy. Oh my god.
That was good. That was good what I did there, right? Let's just
Oh.
get into our first card, or well, I guess second card of the day, but this is the headliner. Okay, guys, this is gonna be crazy. This is gonna be so crazy. What headliner did we just get for Strixhaven? We got Emeritus of Ideation. What headliner are we gonna get for Reality Fracture? It's called Bloodline Recollector. And guess what? Guess what? It's just another Emeritus of Ideation. Emeritus of Ideation, what prepared spell did it have? It had Ancestral Recall. What prepared spell is this card gonna have? Ancestral Craving. Oh my god, bro. This is Wizards is so out of the box on this one. I don't know how they come up with these things. Like, where did they get these ideas from? This is nuts. Adam, take us through our headliner. for reality
You're making
fracture.
me do this after you just said how
Bro, yes.
it's a cool call. I like it. I don't know what you're on about with
I'm not tripping. I know ball. I know ball. Okay. And I'm a pioneer. Okay. I'm a pioneer of Wizards. Let me think. What's the pulling the Dan Frazier? That was good. That's what they're doing. And that's so perfect that it had to happen the day after this this preview panel. Bud Light Recollector. What does it do, Adam?
dude, I don't want to I'm not going to talk about this card if you're just going to be shitting on Wizards the whole time.
Okay, I'm done with that. I'm
This is
done
a
with
cool
that.
card.
I mean, it's a cool card, but
Yeah, well,
and by
it's
the way, the headliner version looks it's the same exact thing as the Emeritus of Ideation.
they've done it before. Dude,
No, but I'm saying in back-to-back sets, like back-to-back sets is crazy.
well, maybe because they're both set in alternate versions of the same plane.
How?
Hexhaven and Strixhaven?
Well, yeah, but I didn't think that that was supposed to be the point of reality fracture.
Well, but clearly that's why they're copying everything over and just, reversing things. Okay.
I know, but that's what I'm saying is like they're just copying it over. Anyway, go
Bloodline
ahead.
Recollector. 1 generic and a black for a 2/2 Vampire Warlock. At the beginning of each end step, if 3 or more creatures died this turn, this creature becomes prepared. And its prepared spell is Ancestral Craving. So for 1 black, you get an instant that says target player draws 3 cards and loses 3 life. I like it. I like
I'm not
this.
saying it's a bad card. I'm not saying it's a bad card.
No, I mean it's a really good card. I mean it's absolutely it's kind of broken because it triggers on each end step, and you can, you can cast the Ancestral Craving. So or at instant speed. So you can, draw 3 cards on each person's. Oh, excuse me. You can draw 3 cards on every person's turn as long as you can keep preparing your Bloodline Recollector. So I think this card is busted, and I mean, here's the thing. If you're going to complain about them reusing cards, complain about the one where they actually reused an actual card called Ancestral Recall. Don't complain that they made a new version of the card.
Well, I'm not okay.
This is more groundbreaking than the Emeritus.
Well, yeah, this is way better than the Emeritus. I'm just saying, bro, can I have my fun? Bro, can I have my fun? Okay.
Dude, it's not fun. You're just dogging on Wizards.
Well, I'm not really dogging on Wizards. Okay, just wait until we finish with the next card.
On Dan Frazier, bro. Oh my, dude, you're.
Yo, all respect to Dan Frazier, but you gotta admit that was pretty funny. Like I kind of,
Yeah, no, I mean,
I kind of cooked on that one.
No, it's very fitting that in the set that they're doing nothing creative, Dan Frazier totally pirates someone else's artwork. Yeah, no, that's 100%.
Well, that was in the last. That was actually in the last one, but that was the Hobbit. That was the last set.
Yeah.
So then this is not the same set.
Well, but you know what I mean. It's all coming out at the same time.
Yeah.
Dude, that Photoshop job was terrible. Dude, it looks like he badly cut it out and then blurred the edges and feathered it. Oh well, shit, we gotta cut around it to make sure that. Those edges are too hard. We gotta blur that so we can feather the edges to make it look like it's. Oh my god, dude! Talk about the card.
Yeah. Okay. Overall, everything else that I said aside, I do think this is a good card. Like we said, definitely way better than Emeritus of Ideation. In order to prepare that thing, we have to exile 8 cards from your graveyard. In blue, I don't know. This is a lot. Feels like it does a lot more with what the game plan is in black. Even going back, what was the card that we were looking at? Tom Burton William. I mean, you're pulling stuff into your graveyard. A lot of stuff in black. This just feels really good. Ancestral Craving, because that is new, right? That's not a. So now, because the whole idea with the prepared is that new? Am I tripping? Dude, why are you laughing at me like that? Hold on.
It's Ancestral Craving is a new card. Yes.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay, you're making me think that I wasn't correct. Anyway, it's cool that now they're doing the prepared spells with something new, as opposed to I was a fan of the bringing back the other stuff for prepared. I thought that was really sweet, but I guess it's also cool that they can put new cards in there as well. So overall, I'm a fan of this one. Like I said, it's the headliner. It's going to be pretty sweet. let's go ahead and I do have one more thing to say about this set, but before we get to that, one more card to look at. This is Stringcaster Mage. Adam, in all your infinite wisdom, can you guess what this card is the opposite of?
Thomas, you want to try that again?
Stingcaster
You
Mage.
said Stringcaster the first time.
So Stringcaster Mage. In all your infinite wisdom, can you guess what this card is the opposite of?
Yeah, Thomas, I don't know Magic the Gathering. I'm not sure I'm qualified to talk about what this card actually is. I wonder, are those shards like from the original Snapcaster? They are, because the original Snapcaster is wearing those glasses.
Yo, that's actually kind of sweet. That's pretty okay. I like what they did there. Who's the artist on this one? Galore. Shout out to Galore. Yeah, we be shouting out all the artists today. This is a W card.
Shout out Dan Frazier.
Shout out Dan Frazier. We no disrespect because, like I said, staple in the community. We do love Dan Frazier, but I have to take those opportunities where I can get him.
Dude, how did he think that we weren't gonna catch that? How could you ever? Oh my dude. Okay. This entire episode is just us talking about Dan Frazier. Do you want to go over this one?
Yeah. I mean, I can go over this one. So Staincaster Mage is obviously the opposite of Snapcaster Mage. That one was blue, right? This one is red. And I think, let me actually pull it up because they did say that like a lot of these things are direct kind of opposites as far as all the abilities and everything. So Snapcaster had Flash. This has Haste, which is more of the red ability. They're both 2/1s, but Stingcaster Mage has when this creature enters, target instant or sorcery card in your graveyard gains flashback until end of turn. The flashback cost is equal to its mana cost, as opposed to the Snapcaster Mage, which does the exact same thing. So they just changed the keyword from Flash to Haste.
Yeah.
Well,
this card sucks.
This is way worse. What the heck?
Well, we just got a better version of this in the card called Flashback last set.
That's exactly what I was going to say too. I'm like,
the Flash is the most relevant part on Snapcaster. Like, obviously,
at least the art's cool.
Yeah. Well, like, I mean, Snapcaster is just good. Like, if you have a free counterspell in your graveyard, you could just Snapcast it for free. You play your Snapcaster Mage for 2, flash it back for free, and then you've just paid 2 mana for another counterspell, which is good, or which is on par, on rate. Yeah, no, Stingcaster Mage takes all the benefit away from that. Bad card. Really cool art, really cool concept, bad card.
All right, with that, we have one more thing to talk about. Adam, is it okay if I go on like just another like tiny little eensy beensy mini rant, which I think you're going to agree with this one?
Oh, no.
Okay, so we're getting a really, really cool product. Like genuinely, this does sound kind of cool. The Secret Layer Bundle in Reality Fracture. So what they said about it so far is inside this mind-bending bundle, you'll get Reality Fracture collector boosters, play boosters, an exclusive spin down die, and more, plus a number of the set's mythic rare cards with a full Secret Layer makeover. This sounds pretty sweet. I like that they've been kind of experimenting with a lot of different like bundles in the past. So like the Avatar Commander bundle was awesome. The Turtles Pizza bundle wasn't half bad.
Mm-hmm.
This sounds super, super sweet. But Secret Layer, after the preview panel, we had a really exciting panel coming up next, which was called Secret Layer Redacted with Mark Rosewater. Man, I was so excited. I'm like, yo, Secret Layer stuff, this is going to be so sweet. They come out, and he starts talking about this new exciting game that he created called Mood Swings. And I'm like, okay, whatever. They're just promoting this thing that he's been talking about for the last couple of days. And then they keep talking about it. I'm like, okay, when are we going to get to the secret layers? And I started realizing, I'm like, are we just not getting secret layers? And then they do a gameplay test, and I'm like, great. What a waste of time this was. Talking about some game, like pushing some game, spoon feeding it down our throats. Mark Rosewater spoon feeding it down our throats, calling it Secret Layer. If I was at MagicCon Vegas and I showed up to this panel, I would have been so pissed. I would have been so mad.
How many people do you think left? Like, how many people do you think walked out? I bet it was a pretty significant amount.
Because that's ridiculous. And by the way, twice it happened because the next day, which was the Saturday, there was another thing that was called Secret Layer Presents. This dude comes out a second day to talk about the same game, bro. So now, okay, so I guess now all of a sudden we can just throw secret layer on whatever the heck we want, and have.
You're telling me that after all of the price hikes and the insanely priced MSRP on our insanely high MSRP on products now, and with how much they're printing cards into the ground, and with the success of Secret Lair recently, you're telling me that Mark Rosewater does not have the money to start a game on his own? You're telling me that we have to use valuable space, production efforts, and like, the problem is the money that we've spent on Magic cards is not being put into the team that designs Magic cards. It's being put into the team that designed a garbage game called Mood Swings. I don't care how cool the game is. If it's good, if Mark is such an amazing designer and such an amazing this, that, or the other, do it on your own. Don't piggyback off of Magic the Gathering. That's a pussy move.
But it's not even just Magic. It's like Secret Layer too. Like that's the craziest thing to me.
Like, this is not the first time that Secret Lair has been used to advertise something other than Magic cards. So, like, I get it. This is not like groundbreaking territory. This is not like, Riot and pitchforks and torches. But like, if this game is really so amazing and so awesome, why do you have to take up panel time? Why do you have to take up Secret Lair space to promote this game? Like,
Twice.
If you're such a good
2
designer, your name
panels.
should carry it on its own. You shouldn't need to make. You shouldn't have to artificially create, a scarcity by putting it on the Secret Lair site and making it randomized cards. Like, that's dumb. That's really dumb. That's bad game design, and that I don't agree with it. No.
Yeah. So that'll at least do it for all of the news that we heard throughout the weekend. Some cool things, some really interesting things.
That's a word.
And yeah, overall, I mean, I am quite excited for some of these sets. Adam, I mean, just with the 3 that we've talked about today, which one would you say you're kind of looking forward to the most?
I would say Reality Fracture, because I mean, you know me, color pie breaks are like my bread and butter. So we're just gonna get so many juicy things with that. So
that's
totally
actually a
with it.
good point. There's gonna be some really, really cool stuff, and I think that's gonna, especially from like a CEDH.
Oh yeah, there's gonna be some interesting things.
Yeah, I'm really excited for that one. Me personally, I'll look at the Hobbit. I'm not gonna go too crazy with it because I know prices on there are just gonna be like miserable.
Mhm.
I don't even want to touch that. But we'll see kind of what happens. Some pretty good cards so far. Some exciting things for the future, and I do like that they haven't talked about Star Trek yet because give me some time. You got to wait till the pre-orders go up so that I can buy an insane amount of them before the price skyrockets if it does.
Mhm.
So, thank you, Wizards, for at least saving me for a little bit of time. Let me get my financials in order, and then we'll be good.
Yeah.
With that, Adam, any other closing statements for you before we sign off for this one?
No, I think I've done enough complaining. This was a rough one.
Damn, I haven't done enough. I have so much more I could say, but I won't. Okay, thank you guys so much for tuning in. We will see you guys on the next episode.
See you then.